I'm with Marco Borracino of Singer Watches, and today we're at the Borracino in Geneva, where he's showing the new Divetrack. So, Marco, it's quite an unexpected release from you. I have seen the watch, and you've used the movement that you are famous for to good effect. So, tell me about the watch.
Yeah, indeed. It's a project that we've been working on for the last 5 years. It's a very technical piece. We had a lot of R&D development to achieve this result. The Divetrack is the only existing diving chronograph on the market. Nobody can achieve this kind of performances today because the chrono function in the center, as we feature on our watches, is the key to keep track of all the information of a diving experience before, during, and after the diving session. All divers today will dive with a diving computer. So this watch has been designed in order to be the complement of a diving computer, tracking exactly the same information: the diving time, the decompression time, the surface interval between two dives, and the time you need to wait before jumping on an airplane after your last dive.
Tell me about the design of the Divetrack.
When you look at the watch, you realize it is a very three-dimensional piece. Every side of the watch has a function. The main one, of course, is the dial. The dial has to be as legible as possible because that's the vital information for the diver. It is complemented by a unidirectional turning bezel that is useful, as on every diving watch, to calculating the decompression time, as many as you need. But the key thing is that in order to have enough focus on the main dial, we moved away the time of the day, as we do on our chronograph, and we put it here. The watch case became not only the container of the movement, but also the protection for all of these sapphire elements that are very unusual on a diving watch. Everything about this watch was a challenge because the watch is water resistant to 300 meters. The protection of the push button is a very sturdy element that need to be there to avoid any unforeseen interaction with the button of start and stop. The crown, of course, is screwed down, and even the hole on the lugs, they are aesthetic in order to give a feeling of something that is more light. But talking with a professional diver, I discovered that they use to attach their watches with a little string in order to avoid to lose the watch in case the watch gets stuck or the bracelet fails. So these holes are actually functional as well. The central subdial of the watch is the 24-hour indication of the chronograph. It is divided in 3 sectors. 0 to 6 is the chill area, so the time you need to spend between 2 dives in order to absorb the gas that you have breathed during the previous dive. The 6 to 18 is the dive area, is when you are free to dive without taking any risk. And the 18 to 24 is the fly zone, so is when your body is ready to jump on an airplane after your last dive. And this is the most useful information of your watch, because all of these things are the one that a diver should take care about before, during, and after diving. That's the kind of information that is registered, recorded, and provided by a diving computer. But the thing is that you are not wearing the diving computer when you're out of water or at the restaurant. So this watch is the perfect companion to keep track of the vital information for the diver wherever it goes.
So you use the watch during the dive and also after, so that you don't get decompression sickness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once you are ready to dive, you disengage the protection of the chronograph, you launch the chrono, you close it, and you dive into water. You go down, you take your beautiful dive experience, and then you use the turning bezel to measure the decompression stops, as many as you need. What is interesting is that the chronograph of the watch will keep track of the full duration of your dive. This information is vital to calculate the surface interval between 2 dives. This surface interval can be a few minutes or up to 6 hours. After 6 hours, you're anyway free for the next dive. And in case you need to catch a flight, you will keep the chronograph running to indicate when you will be good to jump on an airplane. The last sector is simply to avoid the compression sickness when you're catching a flight. The dimension of the watch is very peculiar because the lug to lug is exactly the same that we have on our 43mm watches. So it sits on the wrist very well on any side of wrist. And the side to side is 49 because the shape of the case has been designed to protect the push buttons and the crown to avoid that they would be too prominent and they could catch or get stuck into something. And the total height of the watch is 19mm. So that's why this size is large, but the overall wearability of the watch is incredible on any wrist.
Which is near to the deep sea.
Yeah.
I did not expect a diving watch from Singer because I've known your watches are more about racing.
Singer Reimagined stands for Reimagined Iconic Watch Functions. Diving watches have been the same since ever. I really wanted to achieve something that was never achieved before and set a new standard the same way we did with the central chronograph. For me, making a diving watch is a statement that will eventually help people to understand even more about what Singer stands for.
Well, Marco, thank you very much for sitting with me and telling me about your new Divetrack. I wish you a good week here at the Borracino.
Thank you very much, always a pleasure.